Hello everybody. Today is going to be a version of things that showed up in the mail. Basically, I got the call from the video guys. They said they wanted me to come up and make a video. And this video is going to be a bunch of items that I've got a little bit of test time on. Not enough for a full review, but they're interesting enough to share on video. All right, we'll start with a new hip pack. There you go. Hip packs, not quite as novel as they used to be a few years ago. It seemed like everybody was coming out with a new hip pack. Nowadays, there's tons of different options, but this one actually caught my eye. It's from a small company called Suga, and this is the Suga Pivot Pro, handmade in North Carolina, United States. It's got a neat little feature that allows you to hold a water bottle against the back, just like that. You can put a full bottle there, and then once you're done with the bottle, once it's empty, you can put it on the outside. Just kind of keeps the balance of the hip pack nice and against you. It's got some big, good wide, almost like a backpack hip strap, so it doesn't shift around. Good storage inside. It's nice and bright too. Yellow inner fabric makes it easy to find all those little pieces that might go missing. And just really nice and adaptable. And as I mentioned, it's handmade. I'll give a quick demonstration of how that works. So it's got these little straps here. So the bottle's there. And when you're done with the bottle, you can flip it like this, like that. And then you could slide it in this way when it's empty, or if you just want to use the pack to carry maybe an extra layer, just kind of getting to be fall, and carry a windbreaker or rain shell. Fits in right there. This other strap keeps everything nice and secure. So basically, pretty simple, but well thought up, handmade hip pack from Suga. And that's the Suga Pivot Pro. On the topic of fall, wet weather riding, we have some new shoes from Physique. These are the Terra Ergolace Gore-Tex. And if you forget that they have Gore-Tex, it says right on the side, Gore-Tex. Yeah, so basically waterproof, breathable membrane, but there's one downside, they're low top. So if you go through a deep puddle, the water goes over the top. And I'm a little confused by it. I've figured out that my ideal scenario for these is the day after it rains. So when the puddles aren't super deep, but it's still kind of wet, or maybe like a light sprinkle, they work. But for super inclement weather, you're probably better off with some waterproof socks or a higher top version. They're nice and stiff, they're comfortable, a little bit closer to, they're not cross-country shoe stiffness, but definitely not your softer downhill shoe. Decent traction, got some pretty good lugs in the Vibram sole, plenty of room for cleat placement. 210 bucks. Again, I'm not quite sure what they're for, just maybe it's where I live. It's super rainy here, and so when we need waterproof things, we need them to have better coverage, but if your feet get wet and you want something to protect you from a lighter rain, got the Physique Ergolace Gore-Tex shoes. Next up, we've got new bottom bracket from Enduro. Enduro makes all kinds of bearings, maybe even the bearings that came in your bike. They're kind of the OEM supplier for multiple companies, but they also make aftermarket things. So if it's time to do a little refresh on your bike, wide range of options there. This is their Max Hit bottom bracket. It's like this, looks like a bottom bracket. This is the dub version. It's kind of expensive, $180. That's a pretty substantial amount more than your typical replacement bottom bracket, but they do guarantee it for life. So lifetime warranty against corrosion on the bearings. And the design's pretty interesting too. Rather than having the bearings sit in a separate carrier and then pressed into another one, it's basically, you can think of this as a thread-in bearing. So let them pack bigger bearings in there. They put a ton of grease. They say it's 90% filled with grease. So for people that live in super wet conditions or are really hard on bottom brackets, this should be worth a try. I'm gonna stick it in my personal bike and torture test it basically for the next few months and see if it holds up any better than your typical bottom bracket. Hopefully it does for the price. So again, Enduro Max Hit bottom bracket. Let us know in the comments how many bottom brackets you go through in a year. Seems like lately they've been working pretty well. In the past, they used to not last that long. I think we're in a good spot, but if you're having issues, let us know which ones are causing you trouble. It's getting dark outside. Some people are heading indoors, indoor training, trying to stay in shape and not get fat on the couch. To help with that, we've got the Coros heart rate monitor. I know we don't do a lot with heart rate monitors, and I personally have never used a heart rate monitor until the last couple of weeks, but it's kind of interesting. And this one, the reason this caught my eye, it's really simple to use. You don't have to wear the chest strap. You just put it up on you like this. It's got a little optical sensor in there, reads your heart rate. You can just ride, not think about it. It'll send the data to any Bluetooth enabled device, up to 3 devices. So if you have your phone going, you could have your Garmin device and some other thing. But basically just keeps track of your heart rate. You can kind of use that in your training to see how hard you've been trying or what levels you've been exercising at. It's pretty interesting. 80 bucks, it's not that expensive. It's washable. Well, actually I accidentally put it in my washing machine and washed it. It's not supposed to be that washable, but it survived. So that's pretty good. But the strap is washable and the little unit comes off so you can wash the strap and don't wash that in your washing machine. But it did survive, so that's pretty good. And to recharge it, Just has a nice little magnet here, USB rechargeable, pretty simple. They say it can go 38 hours at full working capacity basically without needing a charge, so that's a lot of exercising before that it needs to be charged. So pretty simple. Coros heart rate monitor, 80 bucks. Good way to keep track of your heart rate if you're interested in including that in your training plan. All right, well, the final item in this roundup of random parts and accessories that I've been testing out lately, KS-LEV circuit dropper post. You can see, wireless electronic, 200 millimeter drop. A little remote here, boop. So pretty long travel. Right now, we've mentioned before, RockShox, they don't have a 200 mil version of their wireless electronic dropper post. We're seeing other companies step up and fill the gap in the meantime. I recently reviewed that Transx EDP01. It's another option that's in this same range. As far as price goes, this sits kind of in the middle. It's $730, so less than a RockShox, but more than that Transx. And so far the action's been nice and light. I've been really impressed with it. It is a little bit longer overall because of this stack height here, but if you have enough room to fit this in your post, you don't have to deal with any cable or housing. Super easy install. Another neat feature, for some reason the battery dies in this little remote. It has a button here that allows you to activate the post, so you can just push the button, boop. Get you out of the woods in a pinch. As for the battery, it's removable. KS says this is good for 12,000 actuations, which is a lot. That could be, depending on how much you ride, up to 3 months of use. So you shouldn't have to worry about charging this battery too much. When you do, 5 hours on the charger, and you're good to go again. So there you go. KS-LEV circuit dropper post. I'll be testing this again in all kinds of nasty conditions. We'll see how it holds up, but so far things are up to a good start. There you have it. That's a bunch of random stuff that I've been testing lately. Let us know in the comments what you're interested in. If there's anything we haven't been testing that you'd like to see us test. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the things you're supposed to do on YouTube. Thanks for watching.